We are back with a brand new After the Whistle. We survived the heat. Some of us got tans. Some of us didn't. Some of us melted. Some of us didn't. Todd's here. Last time we had a one-man studio audience. Now we got two. We got Ferns here, and we got Mac is back. You guys can't see them, but they're over there. We would have somebody turn the camera, but there's nobody here to turn the camera. But they're here. Studio audience of two. Next week we might have a studio audience of three. A lot to talk about. We're going to start off with the NFL. Training camp has begun for a lot of teams. Patriots started training camp today. Everybody's checking into training camp. But first, let's talk about Tyreek Hill and not getting suspended.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for him because we don't know if what was said would happen, what was said of him, what he actually did. And I don't really know what real evidence is anymore. I don't know why they made a big fiasco about all that on TV if nothing came out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you heard in the audio him threatening the girl, but there was some stuff that led to him threatening her and her saying, it's just two people that shouldn't be together going back and forth with each other. And I don't know. This is crazy because Ezekiel Elliott got suspended for something he was accused of, and there was no concrete evidence of him.
There was really nothing, was there?
Yeah, there was nothing. There was nothing at all, and he got 6 games. And then, you know, Tyreek Hill's a repeated offender of domestic issues, and you just not suspend him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand how there's like different criterias and if there's evidence. You got to find a way to do your justice somehow. Like, for somebody to get accused of something and then get suspended, and you have some type of issue and it's all exposed in the media and all over the world, and nothing happens at all. It's kind of crazy. Which I don't want anybody, you know what I mean, to get jail time or anything. But
they make it up as they go. They literally make it up as they go. Because you know, we saw Tom Brady get suspended. I don't know how many games he gets suspended. 4 or 6.
For air.
For science.
The lack of air.
Pretty much science.
Jesus.
Your phone's going off. And yeah, the NFL, Roger Goodell, he literally makes things up as he goes. And, you know, the team suspended him in April, but now he's back. And it's like there's no accountability at all.
Yeah, and it has to start from the top down. Simple as that. Like, sometimes you got to put a firm hand on things, and sometimes you got to let certain things go. But they were saying about the Zeke thing that they kind of should let that go. And he was so adamant, you know what I mean, about getting him suspended. And I don't know. I just feel like sometimes these guys have personal agendas and personal vendettas against certain people.
Roger Goodell be having personal vendettas with managers and GMs and stuff. Because I know Jerry Jones had some issues with him. So I think that's what led up to the suspension. And with the whole Patriots thing, we all know that. Long history with that, because it's like every time there's somebody that says something negative about him, if a player of that team is in trouble or something like that, they magically get suspended, even without any hard evidence. But some guys, there's hard evidence and they get a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like, you're a professional. People should be able to voice their opinion without you getting in your feelings. That's why it's called a business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you're making that much money, and you know. Especially when you work for the owners too. He works for the owners, so they should keep him in line. But apparently that's a hard thing to do. So we'll see. But the Chiefs. They're a Super Bowl favorite, and they're fully loaded. They'll be back. You know, we're gonna talk about Patrick Mahomes a little bit later. But the Chiefs, they should be. I mean, they were just offsides away from being in the Super Bowl. All the guy had to do was move his hand back.
He's still on default about that.
All you had to do was move your hand back. That's it. Nothing else. Just put your hand up, back, away from the line of scrimmage, and you guys got the interception, game over, and then boom. What do you know? You're not in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, you know what I mean, Patrick doesn't have – this is his second or third year?
Third year is going to be his second year as a starter.
All right, so sophomore slump. Hopefully he doesn't have a sophomore playing slump, I should say, because he's been in the league for 3 years. But I don't think he will, though. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, he should be fine. Speaking of a player that hasn't been in a slump, just, you know, trouble with the law, Ezekiel Elliott, he's going to be holding out. He wants a new long-term contract. I think he has 2 years left on his current deal because they picked up his 5th-year option because he's still on that rookie deal. They pick up the 5th-year option, and he wants to get paid as the highest running back in the league. Right now, I think Todd Gurley's the highest running back in the league. And production-wise, him and Todd Gurley have been putting up numbers since they both got in the league. It's been them two, the best 2 running backs in the league the past 2-3 seasons. And last year, you know, he had 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns. He had 567 receiving yards. This is he's their chance of winning a Super Bowl. If he's not in the lineup, they're not winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and he's a dual threat. And you know, I'm always adamant, if the guy shows his worth, pay that man. Yeah. So pay him.
Well, the NFL don't like paying running backs.
They don't like paying anybody.
They don't like paying running backs except quarterbacks, but especially running backs. They don't like to pay running backs. They just like to use them and dispose of them.
You know, the world we live in, the more work you do, the less you get paid.
Yeah, and stats-wise, the Cowboys are proving they're a better team with the running back. They're a better team with Ezekiel on the field, and then instead of just having Dak, because when they had just Dak and Ezekiel was suspended, they weren't that good. And then,
because you know, Dak's still trying to figure out his game and how to be, you know what I mean, a professional quarterback. Like, he's still figuring it out. And I feel like they still kind of keep the leash on Dak as well. So,
for good reason.
That too. But you gotta live with the negatives and the positives. You know what I mean? In order for you to grow, you're gonna have to have some setbacks.
Yeah, you do. But my thing is, just pay the guy. Jerry Jones, you're worth $1 billion. I know you got money to pay the guys. You got money to pay both of them. But
and I heard he's going on vacation too. He ain't playing with them. He's going on vacation.
Yeah, he going on. Yeah, he said he's going out the country. Yeah. I don't blame him. Like Jerry, and plus Jerry Jones, you know, all the money he makes from Texas Stadium, it goes straight to him because you know when he built it, he bought that land, he bought that property. Mm-hmm. So it's like everything goes in. And, you know, Texas, no state taxes. Like, pay these guys.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you got to get over your greed, man. How old are you? How much money do you need?
Yeah.
And this guy might have a good chance. I won't say he has the best chance, but he has a good chance of maybe being the next Hall of Fame running back from the Cowboys. Yeah. If they keep him in line and they pay him.
Yeah, because, you know,
keep him there first.
In his 3 seasons in the league, 868 carries, 4,480 yards, 28 touchdowns. It's one of the best. And I think he's finished top 5 in 2 out of the last 3 years in rushing. So, I mean, you got to pay for production. It don't make no sense. And then they wonder why they haven't won the Super Bowl since 1995.
I mean, when's the last running back they had that was that consistent? I'll wait. They had a couple that had a couple good years, but were consistent years at a time. Exactly.
Not sure.
So pay him.
Yeah, pay him. Speaking of a guy that got paid, Tyler Boyd of the Cincinnati Bengals. I call them the bum goals because they are bums. They suck.
Sometimes I forget they're in the league.
Yeah, they're terrible. But Tyler Boyd got a 4-year contract extension worth $43 million. He's coming off his first 1,000-yard season. And that's pretty good for a guy who has Andy Dalton throwing him the ball.
Yeah, he's definitely a productive wide receiver. And didn't A.J. Green take him under his wing?
Yeah.
I heard he was kind of, I want to say, vouching for A.J. Green to get some money too.
Yeah.
I was reading the article about it.
Yeah, he only played 14 games last season, and 14 games, 76 receptions, 1,028 yards, 7 touchdowns. Which isn't bad, especially for a guy picked in the 4th round or so. So, I mean, they're getting a bang for their buck.
No, definitely.
But once again, it's the Bengals, and I don't know how far they're gonna go. They might finish last in their division.
I don't really even pay much attention to the Bengals.
Yeah, for good reason. It's Cincinnati. There's not. No offense to anybody from Cincinnati, but there's really nothing much in Cincinnati except the bridge. The bridge that goes to Kentucky. That's about it.
I can see that.
Yeah, so that's yeah. Sorry. All right, other NFL news. There's a lot of NFL happening right now. So the Cowboys released wide receiver Allen Hurns, which is pretty interesting because you would think they would want somebody on the opposite side of Amari Cooper, but they released him, I think, for contract reasons of money, but they just couldn't pay him.
Oh, then they'll probably...
And he broke his leg in the playoffs too.
Oh, yeah, that's a killer, but they'll find somebody. I'm sure, you're going to find somebody to fill in the spot.
It's not somebody as good as him, though.
No, I totally agree, but, it is the Cowboys we're talking about, so... they'll put a body in there and complain when he's no good.
Yeah, but they said there's a lot of young receivers for the Cowboys that's going to step up, but Amari Cooper is going to be seeing a lot of double teams now because of this, and I don't know if those guys are going to be able to make plays. We just go because they still got I forget this guy's name. Dude from West Virginia, he's always hurt too. I forget his name. Tavon Austin.
Oh, okay.
They got him, but he's always hurt.
True.
And then they got some Randall Cobb from the Packers, but he's more of a slot receiver, and he's a little up there in the age. So I don't know I don't know. This team with all these Super Bowl expectations they got, their roster does not look that impressive at this point.
No.
Yeah, so, well, I was about to curse, but whatever. Julian Edelman, he's going to be out. Julian Edelman and Sony Michel, they are going to be out to start training camp. Training camp for the Patriots did start today. These two guys are going to be out. Julian Edelman got some type of thumb injury, and I think Sony Michel got some type of knee injury. But I think this happens every single year with Patriots players. They put them on PUP, even if they have little minor things, except the quarterback. But skilled players in other positions, if they're like slightly hurt, they'll put them on the PU, physically unable to perform list, and find it interesting.
I mean, it seems like Edelman's always getting a little extra vacation with training camp, so like yearly with him. So, I mean, thank God it's not a suspension this time around. It's just a little thumb injury.
Yeah, thank God he ain't putting stuff he ain't supposed to be putting in his body.
But yeah, Sony Michel. Yeah, I don't really know what the extent of his knee injury is, but I'm sure he'll be all right when the season comes around.
This should be an interesting year for the Patriots now they don't have Gronk. Granted, they'll be fine, but the offense is going to look a lot different because Gronk he took so much attention away from a lot of plays. He got them open, he got them one-on-one. So it's going to be interesting to see that now that Brady doesn't have his big insurance over the middle, so I don't know how this team's gonna look.
But don't they still have a couple big tight ends that might be able to be productive?
Yeah, they do, but
I mean,
it's hard. It's hard.
Plays wrong, but if you can get a guy that can get half his production, and then the other guys do a little more, might be able to figure itself out.
Yeah, let me look at this roster actually to see. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, no.
All right.
They got some guy named Benjamin Watson. He's back, but he's 38.
I just said half.
Matt Lacoste.
I don't even know what that is.
4-year man. Ryan Izzo, Andrew Beck, Steven Anderson. Yeah, those are the tight ends that they're gonna be dealing with. And then wide receivers. Demaryius Thomas, Matthew Slater, but he doesn't even play. He's a special teams guy. Damon Patterson, N'Keal Harry. There's a lot of question marks on the offense. There's a lot of question marks on the offense. But granted, they play in the AFC East, where you got Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, and Josh Rosen. I don't see how any of those guys are actually gonna lead a team to more than 5 wins.
I could see that. There's no reason why Brady shouldn't smoke them all anyway.
Yeah, it's actually a joke that.
But you know how Brady is though. When he plays bums, the Pats don't really do too well.
Because he be drinking before the game. I'm just saying, man.
I feel you though. Could be.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season for the Patriots. They're favored again to go to the Super Bowl because the AFC is so weak. It's not that strong. There's probably like 3 or 4 contenders, and I mean, top of my head is the Chiefs, the Colts. I want to stay the Steelers, but I don't think so.
Depends what Ben does.
And the Texans. The Texans, I think they might be the team that
But they always say that Texas is going to be the team, and then they turn back into the Texans.
It's the coach.
True.
The head coach.
He's still there?
Yeah, he's still there.
He'll still be the Texans.
Yeah, I've been advocating for that guy to get the can a while ago, because there's no reason you have all that talent and you can't win a playoff game.
And it's usually sometimes it might just be a few adjustments.
Yeah, like get rid of the coach. Start there.
That is a big adjustment.
Yeah, that's a big adjustment. All right, Odell Beckham. He talked, I believe this was GQ magazine. and he was telling them how he felt disrespected by the Giants for not informing him of being traded or that they were going to trade him. But I mean, this is the business of the NFL. They'll trade you in a heartbeat, just like that. Even if they give you a long-term deal, he should have seen his time coming. His time coming with the Giants. He should have seen it because everything that was happening.
I mean, he didn't want to be there. So why do you really care? I think he was just more mad on where he got traded to. You know what I mean?
But they actually did him a favor. They traded him.
I mean, when you see it on paper, though, you see the Browns, it's like, Jesus. But then when you realize the tools he has around him, and he's playing one of his best friends, it worked out in his favor.
But, I mean, the antics caught up to him, and plus, he needed to get out. He needed to get out of a big city. You could tell he's different now. Just look at the haircut. just look at him. He got rid of that blonde hair. Maybe he's maturing because he got rid of that hair. But he needed to go to a place like Cleveland because all you gotta do is play football and there ain't nothing else to do in Cleveland.
Yeah, New York was probably a little bit much for him because he loves the attention anyways. He needs to humble himself and be dumbed down a tad.
Yeah, and ain't no better place to do that than They could have been worse. They could have sent him to Buffalo.
This is true.
Or Jacksonville.
I mean, at least the weather's nice. Buffalo.
Yeah, but you don't want to be around senior citizens all day.
Yeah, but at least you get a tan. You see them on the yacht and all that. He loves sitting outside in the sun half naked.
My man wore boots. My man likes wearing boots on the yacht in 90-degree weather.
Yeah. I mean, so, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Enough about him. Screw him. Pro Football Focus, they released their top 10 QBs going into the league. We got the list right here, and, I don't get this infatuation with Aaron Rodgers. I really don't get. I still don't understand how people could have him that high, especially with so much question marks going into the season. But Baker Mayfield at number 10?
Yo, man, he's the young boy that's trying to turn the franchise around. I already told you how many rookies had 7 wins for the Browns at QB. I'll wait forever.
I don't know. The Browns hype is a little too much, but him being in the top 10 QBs going into next year.
They had 7 wins.
But then, they ain't beat nobody good.
They won half their games.
They ain't beat nobody good.
Almost,
though.
bro. Yeah. They're the Browns. They're supposed to just win something.
Yeah, I would not even have
beat nobody good. They gotta beat somebody.
I would not have him in the top 10 going into the season. And then Matt Ryan as well. We've seen enough of Matt Ryan to know.
I like the young boy better than Matt Ryan. Because we know what we're going to get from Matt. But, Matt's not a bum.
He's not, but he's just, having him top 10 going into the season, we've seen him.
He's just that guy, though. So,
Yeah.
What can you do? He'll throw for 300 yards and have like 1 touchdown.
Yeah, Matt Ryan.
Don't even understand that. But
that's what happens when you have weak quarterbacks like that, weak quarterback play. But I think Patrick Mahomes might repeat MVP. I think he's going to repeat MVP, but yeah, some of these guys, like Russell Wilson, I understand. Andrew Luck, I understand. Roethlisberger, I understand. But Mayfield, Rodgers, Matt Ryan, I'd put Carson Wentz over a couple of those guys. I'd actually put Dak over a couple of those guys going into next season. Deshaun Watson, I'd put over a couple of these guys.
I'll give you Watson.
Yeah.
That's it. You just said Dak by himself. He ain't no good. You can't put him on this list.
I still think he's better than Baker Mayfield.
He ain't.
At least Dak got to the playoffs.
Yo, dog.
His rookie
Baker played for the Browns. He got 7 wins. When's the last time they sniffed 7 anything?
He probably gonna get 7 wins again this year.
No, he might get 9.
8 the most.
We'll see, brother.
But
the Cowboys are a historic franchise. They're supposed to go to the playoffs.
They've been bums for.
They're still a historic franchise.
Them dudes been bums for too long. Yeah, historically been bums.
Franchise, which is historic.
Those
Same
guys
by the Cowboys.
Yeah, they don't love them for the football. They don't love them for the players. They love them for the cheerleaders.
Part of the historic.
Yeah. We'll have more. We'll do our own top 10 at some point before the season starts, because this week's the last week with no football. And then preseason, I know the championship or the Hall of Fame game starts next weekend. And then we got preseason and all that going on. But the Packers, they signed Dean Lowry to a new contract. We both don't know who this guy is. We just put this on here because anytime somebody gets paid, we got to acknowledge it because a lot of players don't get paid, like Jadeveon Clowney. He ain't getting paid, and first-round pick not getting paid. And this guy was like a third-round pick.
Crazy.
Got a nice little extension. I think it was like $40-something million.
He got some bread.
He got some bread. He had kind of a career year last season, but yeah, he was a fourth-round pick. You know, these fourth-round picks are getting paid, and these first-round picks aren't getting long-term deals. 3 years, $20 million, including $6 million signing bonus.
I mean, he did have 3 sacks. He had, 44 tackles?
Yeah.
Something like that. So he did all right.
It's hard. It's hard from a defensive tackle position to do all that.
He showed his worth.
Yeah, Packers need all the defense they can get because them dudes be trash on defense.
True.
Trash. So good for him to get his money. Now, some of these other GMs, they need to stop paying their talent because there's no reason why Jadeveon Clowney should not have a contract right now. All right, we got a couple more NFL stuff. We just put this one up so we could show this highlight. Mark Sanchez retired. he announced his retirement. I think it was yesterday or this morning, and we only want to show it just to show the butt fumble. That's
worst fumble of all time.
Just watch. That was
how you running somebody's booty cheeks.
Especially a person that big. How do you miss that? How do you miss him? All right, this is pretty much Mark Sanchez's career. That play right there. Oh, there was also him eating hot dogs on the sideline one game, trying to be sneaky with it, eating like this.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
that butt fumble was
Mark Sanchez. So now he's gonna be an ESPN analyst talking football. Yeah.
You need to be down here with us. You don't need to be on the ESPN. Come on TV, Mark.
He don't even need to be here with us. He need to stop below us. Yeah, we love him. We know more than him.
Yeah, I ain't never read nobody's butt before. And I play against some 7-footers. And they literally, they butt, almost, here. That's crazy.
I ain't gonna talk about this.
That's crazy.
The New York Giants, they might have a little QB battle with Daniel Jones and Eli Manning, but it's just like picking who's worse, and it's like pick your choice.
Might as well have them play shuffleboard.
You might as well. They definitely should play QB shuffle because, I mean, nobody saw Daniel Jones being picked that high. Eli Manning's good days has been way behind him. So
faces, though.
Yeah, they look like cousins or brothers. Yeah, they look like they're related.
That Manning face.
Yeah. So I don't know what's happening with this team, but, I mean, Odell's gone. Who they going to throw the ball to? And, they benched Eli for Geno Smith one time, so.
Who do they have for wide receiver?
Sterling Shepard.
Oh, Shep.
Yeah, that's about it. But, I don't know. So that's what the Giants' predicament right now, and they're probably going to finish last in their division too, because I just don't know what.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either, because I think even the team in Washington has a higher chance of finishing higher than them, and they don't even have a quarterback. Well, they do, Dwayne Haskins, but can't expect much from a rookie.
True. But yeah, I mean, Washington's usually all right. They're usually in the middle of the pack for the most part. That's
another team that haven't made the playoffs in years.
That's why I said middle of the pack. Yeah. Just hanging around.
Yeah. Travis Frederick, speaking of the AFC East, Dallas Cowboys lineman Travis Frederick, he's going to be active for training camp. The guy, he's missed all of last season because he had some health issues. Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is an autoimmune disease that affects the nervous system. He was out all of last season. Now he's been cleared to play. And this guy, when he was playing, he was one of the reasons why their offensive line was one of the best. He was an all-pro. So we'll see if he could get back to that all-pro form. But, dude, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know much about that.
Yeah, how do you feel after that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you still have certain symptoms? If you get hit a certain way, is it going to flare back up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't know. So hopefully I wish him the best.
Yeah, because that's something you don't want to mess with is the nervous system, because you end up, one little glitch, you might end up in a wheelchair forever.
Bro, when people die, their nerves still be twitching.
Yeah.
So it's you don't want to mess with that.
Yeah.
When you gone, your body still be moving. Like that's pretty important.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy till something crazy happens on the football field.
And that's what I mean. Hopefully he doesn't get hit a certain way and it flares back up or something like that. But
you know, in the trenches, that's where the money's made. That's why. Thank goodness I'm like 150 pounds. I couldn't be an offensive lineman, right, Mac?
Them guys are like physical specimens, bro.
Yeah.
They're just ginormous people.
Hell yeah. And lastly, Cooper Kupp, he's cleared to practice. He's coming off a torn ACL. He was having quite the season. He was having a good season last year until he tore his ACL. And he could have been a difference maker for them in the. No, he couldn't. I'm lying. No, he couldn't. But.
Nah, Cooper's all right, though.
Yeah.
I remember who he was. On paper, I was like, who's Cooper Kupp? And I had to look. I was like, all right. Nah, he was solid.
Yeah, this guy, he had, last season he had 566 yards, 6 touchdowns. The year before he had 869 yards. But the way their offense goes, there's so many explosive plays. And I remember there was a game against the Chiefs. He had a few big plays. Mm-hmm. And, the guy could play the slot and he could play the outside. And I think it's going to help the Rams, especially with Todd Gurley with his arthritis in the knees. And
that's crazy.
Which is, yeah.
Arthritis in the knees in your 20s?
Yeah. Interesting. He might have to start doing hot yoga or something.
I don't know how long he's even going to last, bro.
Not long.
That's crazy.
You know, the lifespan of running back isn't that long either, all the contact they take.
Yeah, but that arthritis.
Yeah.
You got like 80-year-old knees, bro.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right, enough of that. NBA news. We got some NBA news to talk about. The NBA is launching an investigation into free agency because they think there's been some tampering going around because of all the player movement. But it's like, what actually are you gonna do? Because these players talk to each other. You can't, it's not really tampering if these guys talk to each other on a regular here and there. The agents aren't talking. If it's the players talking, there's no rule that says players can't talk. It's just agents and teams can't talk to the players.
If they're really gonna get like real in depth and real nitpicky with this, you might as well just make a rule in each contract that you can't fraternize with other players from different teams until you're in free agency.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that's the case. But in reality, they've been talking to each other since high school. Playing AAU together. Yeah. You know what I mean? Playing certain circuits together, camps. Camaraderie is part of it. That's why the NBA is the NBA and it's not the NFL.
For real. And the NBA just sometimes they be doing the most sometimes. They just just let it be. I think they got so many headlines from free agency. It's like you should be happy that we're in July and we're still talking about the NBA. The NBA Finals was over in June. The draft was in June. At this time, people don't usually talk about the NBA. They talk about the NFL.
True. I just don't think that they like so many duos on these on these big stages, and the small markets are kind of gonna be left behind. Man, we ain't thinking about none of these small market teams.
Nobody cares about them damn small markets.
Yeah, we get that, but the people who run the small markets don't. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe they should draft and develop players better, and I could actually give them a reason to stay. That could be a part of the reasons why they want to leave, because a lot of these small market teams, the players want to leave because you're surrounding them with bullcrap and. And you got a team maybe like the Lakers or another big team that in a big market, a lot of players live in LA anyway, so it's like, why not just go to LA?
I get it.
Yeah, I find it very interesting, and plus people think it's like messing up the competitive balance of the league, but I mean, if you look at the NBA, there's been probably like the same 10 teams that's won a title. There's never really been a parity of who's winning titles. It's always the same teams.
Yeah, every team still hasn't won a title.
Yeah.
Some organizations that are still titleless.
Some organizations can't even reach a finals. So
this is true.
I mean, people always talking about no parity in the NBA. It's like there hasn't been parity ever in the NBA. It's like, I mean, 1 or 2, the 80s, you had Celtics.
In all reality, there's no real parity in sports in general.
At all.
It's either you win or you lose. You don't kind of do anything.
Yeah. The Washington Wizards, they've made some moves. They hired a new GM. Finally, it's only the draft happened and free agency happened, and these guys ain't have a GM, and now you want to get it after all that. Tommy Shepard's hired. I mean, what's the point of hiring him now? I mean, you might as well have just gone throughout the season without having one, but I guess
he was already there.
Yeah.
So they just moved him up. worked his way up. Hopefully, he has a different mindset than the guy he was working for.
Yeah.
But I feel like usually when you work for somebody, you kind of keep some of that with you because that's kind of how that's what you know.
Yeah, and they're working on giving Bradley Beal a 3-year, $111 million extension, but why? I don't know why Bradley Beal would sign that extension. I'd be like, heavens no, I'm not signing that extension.
At some point, Wall coming back. So you're going to want to get out of there.
Wall coming back next year. Wall, and he's making he's already got a terrible contract that they're stuck with, and now you gonna give me this contract, and you can't surround me with anything for me to work with or to improve the team. Nah, don't say. If I'm Bradley Beal, I would not sign this. I mean,
I think it's just time for him to move on.
Yeah, it's definitely time for him to move on. Especially you got John Wall. He got that contract.
John's not going nowhere. So.
He want to party all the time in D.C. and mess up his Achilles doing walking around his house. That's what he said. It was he slipped on some stairs in his house.
I did some stuff walking around the crib, but not that though.
I mean, you guys ever just tore your Achilles walking around your house? Yeah, I'm just saying.
Like for real.
I'm just saying, you probably twisted your ankle or something, but Achilles?
Yeah, that's crazy. He do get them slide-ons though. You better watch out.
I got you. In other news, Tim Duncan, he got hired by the Spurs as an assistant coach.
So be it.
Tim Duncan, I just don't see him.
They should have hired him as a GM. To be honest, he seems just like a front office guy. Like he's so stoic, and I don't see him on the bench doing this and doing what I do on the bench.
I don't see him talking.
That's it too. Like,
so if he was a GM,
it would make sense.
If he was a GM, he probably has somebody talk for him because I just see him just sitting there.
But they don't really say too much though.
He doesn't.
I mean, GMs don't really say too much. I mean, in the boardrooms they talk. I'm sure you can talk in front of people, but like all that, nah, you don't need that.
I don't know. This is the same man that came in a game with barbecue sandals on.
True. He's an island man.
Yeah.
He's an island man.
So I don't know, but it's a good hire, especially the career he had. He's a Hall of Famer.
I'll be honest. I think he sees the game a certain way that will allow Pop to finally be like, you know what, it's time for me to just sit down, step down,
and a lot of guys respect him too because he's one of those guys. He just never said anything on the court.
So you don't really know him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You think you know him, but you don't.
He just goes on the court, handles his business. Like Draymond Green said, his rookie year, he started talking trash to him, and he just looked at him. Didn't say nothing.
Give him the stupid face.
And
Give him the crazy look.
So that's the type of person you're dealing with. But good hire for the Spurs. Now maybe he'll teach LaMarcus Aldridge how to not be so soft.
He probably will. He used to practice with them too, actually.
Yeah.
Last year. He used to give him buckets. Yeah, he was cooking them.
You know, my thoughts on LaMarcus Aldridge is they haven't changed since I see Glenn Davis and them boys punk him in the NCAA tournament. That's my thought. My thoughts.
He does love the jumpers though. He don't.
Yeah, they punked him.
That was a while ago.
Yeah. All right, a couple more. Zion. He signed with the Jordan brand. Good for him.
I love Jordan. I love his retros.
Yeah.
All the new styles, they look like boots. Zion, it might work for him because he needs anvils on them feet.
Yeah.
That boy be jumping out the roof.
Yeah, Zion, that's a lot of body.
That's a lot of body.
That's a lot of man. So hopefully he drops some weight,
But they just, their shoes, they're not as sleek as it used to be, but you know how sneakers are, they fit according to the player.
Yeah.
So Jordan was more like a sleek businessman type of feel. So
Jordan brand been collecting players this summer. They got Jason Tatum, they got Kemba Walker this off season. So a lot of players going with the Jordan brand, and this is why Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
And I heard they have free reign now too, though. It's not like how the old Jordan brand used to be. You got to get picked. Now it's like, I want to be part of your brand. All right, cool. Sign in.
Yeah. All that money. Jordan, we need that check, man. Cut us a check. Or send us some kicks. One of those two. Size 11. Size 12?
Nah, 11. I play in the 12. I wear 11.
Well, you could get the playing ones. Last NBA news. So the FIBA championships or the FIBA World Games, whatever you want to call it, there's been a lot of players dropping out. Kevin Love's been the most recent player that's dropped out of that. I know DeMar DeRozan dropped out. Damian Lillard. A lot of players dropping out of this. It's interesting.
Like 6, I think 6 or 8.
It's up to like 10 now.
Oh, 10. Oh.
It's up to 10 now.
I mean, the season, to be honest, these guys want to spend time with their family. They want to have a little bit of vacation. Cause what? Like, these guys starting
late September. The USA Basketball, they start
August, late August. You know what I mean? So it's like, and the season's 82 games. You might have to shorten it about to 72. You know what I mean? Just because if you want these guys to also, I want to say, play in the Olympics or USA games, you have to give these guys some time to recuperate, to spend with their family, to relax, to breathe. Like, Jesus.
And so far, the players that have dropped out: Anthony Davis, James Harden, Damian Lillard, DeMar DeRozan, Bradley Beal, Eric Gordon, Tobias Harris, and C.J. McCollum. So those are some of the guys.
Like a whole team. Who's gonna get to play for you?
They've got a couple Celtics. They got like 4 Celtics on there: Tatum, Brown, number 36, Kemba is on there.
We going bronze.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Like, the world's caught up. Like, the world got pros everywhere, too.
Yeah.
Like, we need... Granted, I love them all. You know, I ride with the Celts, but y'all know better.
They got Donovan Mitchell he's still going to be in there. So there's... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think these guys care as much as they do, or they just want to break. Because I think when the Olympics come around, you'll see more of the star players get into the Olympics.
I heard they were kind of just trying to skip training camp.
That too.
And just when the Olympics come around, they're gonna just jump back on board. But it was the system. That's why Coach K implemented that system to make it so you got to go to training camp and it's like a 2-year.
Yeah, annoying
thing, like
whatever.
Commitment, 2-year commitment.
Athletes Corner, we're gonna go into it. We had North Shore Generals on here. They had their first game last week, and they got a game this weekend in Boston. So we talked to those guys about the season and all that good stuff. And we're gonna come. Welcome to another edition of Athletes Corner. We got some special guests here. We got the North Shore Generals in the house. We got Mr. Dawon Dix and Mr. Darren Darcy. How you fellas doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Can't complain. A nice summer day out here. Let's talk about some football. Football is here, and you guys just had the season opener last week.
We did.
Can you guys talk about that game?
We traveled to Meriden, Connecticut. We played the CT Panthers, so they've won the our league championship, a few times. So we went down there and we came back home with the victory. So it was a nice trip.
It was a good way to start the season off because you guys have a lot of expectations this year. So it's good to start the season off on a good note.
Yeah, I've been hearing that.
Yeah, this is your first year, Mr. Darcy's first year coaching. So how's it just to get in the thick of things?
It's good. I rely a lot on the players' experiences, and I've been observing the first month and seeing where I can help out with the team in all capacities. And then I took over special teams last week on the fly.
Yeah, what is it like just getting into a new situation, just to become familiar with the players, trying to figure out their tendencies, what they're good at, what they're not good at, things, so you can put them in the position to succeed on the field? Yeah,
you gotta know what you're doing, and you gotta observe. Because I don't know the men that well, but now I think I do. But I took a note from Coach Berry for the Patriots. He took over an interim basis, and he took notes the whole first 6 games because he was interim coach.
Yeah.
And I met him once, and I talked to him about that. So it was more like my experiences with just football in general, and just seeing the kids and got the men, I should say, and it's learning what they're good at and where we can place them.
Yeah, definitely. Dawon, for being the offensive coordinator, how are you going to be able this year just to keep defensives guessing on what you guys are going to do on offense? And also how are you going to keep your offense balanced?
I think for the first part, as far as the defense guessing, is just really figuring out what they do well and trying to find some weaknesses. A lot of the teams that we play, either they have a bunch of athletes and they can cover a lot of ground, or they're just bigger, stronger, and they're going to try to come downhill and stop the run. So I think for speaking for myself and the staff, as long as we can really figure out what teams do well, then we can game plan, and then we put the onus on our guys to actually execute it. And relative to us, I think one of the most beautiful things about our team is that we have a lot of weapons, at our slots, our wideouts, our running back, our quarterback. We from top to bottom, we can really do a lot of things. So the hard part of my job is utilizing all of the weapons and all of our guys still feeling as if they have an important role in the grand scheme of what we do.
Yeah, hey, you guys were talking when we were off air. You guys talking about how there's 3 divisions in this league, and you guys play at the highest division. What is that challenge like? You both could answer this question of just playing in the highest division, knowing you guys are gonna be in a fight each week with the teams in the league.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad we're in that division. I want to play the best teams, so that's good. And this year we do have a lot of guys on the team. Our numbers are up, and like Coach Dawon was saying, that we almost have too many skill players. But in our first game last week, 3 of our guys went down, and we had a 4-string situation at running back. So that's the issue as far as I'm concerned, is like keeping everyone healthy. Yeah. And we played, last week's game was in 106-degree humidity, and it was really tough. I mean, it was a night game, but it still was really, we were losing guys to dehydration. Yeah. It was really a rough first week.
Oof.
For both teams.
Yeah, especially being the first game, you don't know, because football players they condition themselves during the off season, but you don't know how conditioned you are once you start playing. So the heat is kind of, that's kind of like a reality. Yeah, that's kind of like the reality check for all the players. Just talk about you guys. Last season, you got eliminated early in the playoffs. So how's it going to be for this year if you guys are going to take that step just to make a deep run?
Well, I think off of the point of the teams that we play, and the caliber of players we have on our own team, and then the coaches that we have is, you have to prepare. Last year for myself personally, I didn't really think the offense finished like we should have. We scored 28 points in the first half. It was, I think, almost 28-0, and then we came back and only scored 1 or 2 more times in a losing effort. We had the ball last, we ran out of time, we didn't score to go ahead, but we play some talented teams. Some coaches who prepare and they know what they're talking about, and you got teams who really want to win. So when it really comes down to football, and winning, you got to prepare. So for us, as playing in that AAA division of it, as a reminder that we gotta come with it, and the players gotta come with it. And I think the expectations we've set for our team, if we can reach those expectations, I think we'll go on a nice little run.
Yeah. Are there any players on your team that you guys are expecting to have a better season than they have last year, or some players that you guys have high expectations for them this season?
Well, speaking for the offense, Nate Adamas, he played for, I believe, Nor'easter last year in some type of subbing or limited role, and I think maybe a year prior to that he had a couple injuries, so he's the same guy who, scored 3 times for us to really establish the running game and really open other things up. So myself, having been a former running back at one point in time, it's good to see him do well, but more importantly, good to see that we can run the ball. Have a guy back there, as long as another guy can, and we have another one, Frank, and we're going to try to find a 4th or a 5th to establish our running game. But I think he should have a real big year.
Special team wise,
it's a big challenge. Special teams wise, we practice once a week, don't forget, and special teams takes a lot of time and effort to get it right. What we did, well, I shouldn't give strategy away, but we have some ideas how to help.
Don't give strategy away.
We had some ideas last week, and it actually we did a great job special teams level.
Yeah.
We actually won the special teams, which is a big part of our game plan. because they drove the ball in the first half against us, and they had to go the whole distance.
Yeah.
They never started on our side of the 50.
Yeah.
And there was a couple drives that ended on the 3-yard line for them, and they didn't make it. They didn't get in. Actually, one play we returned an interception from the end zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
But and I help out everywhere. I actually did the offensive line last week, so,
So you're all
I
over the
do
place.
get involved with the offense, and I'm going to help Keith, our defensive coordinator, Keith Schur, as well next week in defense. I can coach both sides of the ball.
You're versatile out here. And this weekend you guys have a game against the Boston Bandits, am I correct? Tell me a little about them before we get out of here.
Sure.
I think a tough team. They won the championship last year. They're strong on both sides of the ball. They're big on defense. What I see offensively, they got a quarterback, or quarterbacks, I should say, that can throw, and run. And they got some higher level receivers who can catch the ball, and a running back who can run between the tackles. So on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, they're going to come with it. Their defense specifically, they have some guys I'm not really looking forward to seeing, but I'm also excited about the challenge because, it gives us an opportunity to do better this time around than we did, last year when it was a losing effort for us.
Yeah, definitely. And what time that game is?
7 p.m.
7
This coming
p.m.
Saturday.
in Boston. And the first home game is August 4th at 7 p.m. Am I correct, at Manning Field?
Yes.
It's actually at 5.
At 5 p.m.
Yes.
Okay, so first home game, August 4th. It's a Sunday at Manning Field. Please go and support them. Go check them out.
Yes.
Go
Yeah,
check
a lot of
them out.
local talent. We got guys from Merrimack, local players. We got a defensive back that looks like Richard Sherman. Intercepts the ball. He goes to the house a lot. We get some guys that are exciting. We run an exciting team. Exciting offense. Our defense is a very fast man defense, and there's a lot of schemes, and we're going to make some plays on defense, too.
All right. It's all about them making plays. I can't even talk. All about making plays. Make sure you guys check them out. August 4th, their first home game at Manning Field, 5 p.m. Check them out. Boston Bandits this Saturday. They're looking to go 2-0, so make sure you support the local teams that are out here. Thank you guys for coming.
No, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Not a problem. All right, you guys been watching Athletes Corner. We're done. We're out of here. See you next week, I think. Maybe. Bye. All right, thanks to the North Shore Generals for coming along. Oh yeah, and we was just talking about conflict of interest between Zion and signing with Jordan Brand because he went to Duke and, Jordan went to UNC, but only real people go to UNC, you know what I'm saying? I was gonna say something else, but I can't. So yeah, my hatred for Duke. Before we just gonna go through some quick stuff. That's Manny Pacquiao on the screen, but we're gonna talk about John Jones and this battery charge that he's facing stemming from an alleged April incident in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Nothing good happens in Albuquerque, New Mexico, from what I heard. Yeah. He's accused of slapping a waitress in her genital area at a strip club and pulling her down to his lap and kissing her neck and all this other stuff. So
that sounds real bizarre, but at a strip club,
it sounds like strip club behavior.
You slap $1 on it? I'm just saying, that's kind of like.
This sounds like strip club behavior. Not that I've been to one, but this sounds.
And in Mexico, I'm sure they're way more lenient with like.
Oh, this is New Mexico.
Oh, I never been to Mexico, but
I've heard nothing good about.
I figure I know different regions you're a little more lenient with your palms, so. I don't really know how to even take this story.
Me either.
Good luck, John.
Yeah, I just know. I just know the slapping of the.
Yeah.
That's strip club behavior.
Yeah,
When you're in those confines. Now, outside of that, that's assault. But when you're in the strip club, that's usually what happens. Especially if you're slapping dollar bills or 20s or 100s on her. But it seems like stuff like this always happens after he has a fight or after he wins.
he can never just stay out the limelight or stay out of the spotlight of trouble. Just stay home, man.
Yeah, stay home.
Just order you a couple strippers. Or they say to hook a couple squirts.
I'd say hit up Bob Kraft, but I would recommend hitting up Bob Kraft, but you don't want those
He might
problems.
get you in a sticky situation.
Yeah. You might have
real sticky.
a whole different type of situation happening. But you got money, call him over. You know.
Man.
Or have your mans call him over. Have a fall guy do it or something like that. You rich people, man. Y'all gotta be smarter.
For real.
Boxing. Manny Pacquiao gave Keith Thurman his first loss this past weekend, and I think it was a decision. There was one round that Pacquiao knocked him down a couple times, and it seemed like it was a highly contested fight. I didn't watch it, but from what I saw, all the analysis of the fight, it was a pretty good one. And now that Thurman lost. So what's next? Is it time for Pacquiao Mayweather again? I don't want to see that.
I don't really want to see it. And kudos to Pacquiao. I heard he looked great in this fight. Yeah. But Pacquiao's not a bum. He's a legend in the game. And like people, he grew up in the Philippines. It's hot out there, bro. Keith Thurman is right, or is it Tony Thurman? What is it?
Keith Thurman, yeah, I think Keith Thurman.
I'll be honest, Keith Thurman nice, but he just didn't know what he was walking into, bro. Yeah. Like only Mayweather knew what Pacquiao was about.
Yeah.
To be honest, you could see by the sweat and all that.
Yeah, because Pacquiao after the fight called out Mayweather. Typical boxing fashion, you call out a guy, and it would just be another waste of time, a pointless fight, a money grab fight for both of them. Because no matter what we say, there's gonna be people intrigued to watch that fight again. Because some people think Manny won the first fight.
What?
Yeah, there's people that think that.
He couldn't even hit Mayweather with an overhand right.
Hey.
And isn't that what he's known for?
Yeah.
So, if you can't even hit him with your most powerful punch at all throughout the fight, and he's tagging you up, how did you win? Mayweather stepped to the left every time.
Yeah. But
stepped out of it every time.
Yeah, that's what happened. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, congrats to Manny Pacquiao on that fight. And also, in boxing news, I can't even pronounce this guy's name.
Yeah,
Dada Chavez, he passed away the other day. This is coming. He was suffering. He had a brain injury after his fight on Friday, and he was in the hospital after that fight. And I think he passed away either Tuesday or Wednesday. And that's boxing for you. These incidents rarely happen, but when they do, you just know this is.
Now, did he get? My condolences go out to the family and everybody. He was around. Like, did he get knocked out?
I don't know what happened. I think
decision or
I'm not sure. Pedro might know.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Brain injury too.
Because usually after every fight, they all get checked out.
Yeah.
Doctor comes with the light and all that stuff. But so for you to just go home thinking you're all right.
Yeah.
And then, damn, that's scary.
Yeah, very scary. So condolences to his family. Baseball news: the Red Sox, they were in second place in the AL East. Now they're in third place. They're 56-47 on the season. Look at this: they're 24-25 at home this season. They have a better road record than they do at home, which makes absolutely no sense. I don't get it. They lost last night to Tampa Bay 3-2. They took that series though 2-3, but. Yeah, this team's been weird.
Maybe it's less pressure on the road because we're hard critics, bro.
That could be it.
Like, we are very hard critics.
Yeah, that could be it, but
especially Red Sox. People.
Oh man,
my God.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to hit a baseball? I can't even do it. Yeah. So with that being said, there you go.
Yeah. So the way the season's going for them, they're probably going to be playing for a wild card, one of those play-in games, because the Yankees right now they got a 9. They're 65-35, and they looking like they're gonna win 100 games this year, and represent the American League in the World Series. I said World Cup, which nobody wants to see because nobody likes the Yankees except New Yorkers. But yeah, that's the Red Sox. They're behind Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's 58-47, so that's the AL East standings right now. And then the bottom two teams, Baltimore and Tampa Bay, they 39 wins and 32 wins though. Yeah. And lastly, before we go, we want to give a big shout out to the BABC on the class of 2020 for winning the national title over the weekend. They won like 2 things, right? It was like the national title and something else, another national title.
So I know they played overall 8 games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know that. I forgot what the other tournament they played in was. Was it the Dixie? It wasn't.
I don't know. It was AAU. nationals.
And it wasn't a Dick Sporting Goods one either?
It could have been.
All right, well, we don't know. But they out there winning. Shout out to Kanye.
Yeah, shout out to Kanye. You know, he got that chip. He's supposed to have a big sophomore season coming up for English. He might get a little more his playing time. He might get more playing time than he did last year. So that boy's been working.
Yes.
And happy birthday to his pops too. His pops' birthday's today.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah. So that's all we got. So next week I'm gonna pay up my St. Louis Blues bet. The shirt was supposed to come in today. I don't know when it's coming in, but Steven, I got you. Next week I will have the shirt, the St. Louis Blues shirt on to pay off that bet. And I ain't betting no more after this season. Monday, come here. We're screening something here on Monday. Screening a documentary. Come here, 7 o'clock. You ain't got nothing better to do with your life. Just come check it out. We got popcorn, and there'll be a Q&A with the directors after. And we are out of here. Thank our studio guests, Ferns and Mac, for coming in. If you want to come in, make sure come in next week. We here. Come next week, 3:30. Everybody's welcome. We might have food for y'all. I'm lying. No, we won't.